Hello everybody and welcome to Pathfinder Plays, and in the background you'll see gameplay of Mist Survival, and in today's episode I am going to be going over things that I think Mist Survival could do better, or things that should be implemented. Now I know that this may seem strange because obviously as of right now this channel is like primarily Mist Survival, and I say these great things about it and I say it has promise and I play the game and I have tons of episodes of it. And all that's true. However, if one's going to stay objective and level-headed and really push a game to its max, you have to look for the issues and the bad things, right? Like, you can't just put the blinders on and say, you know, this is a great game, and then that's it. That's how games get comfortable, and they never progress at all. You have to be willing to get a little bit uncomfortable and examine one of your favorite games and see what its weak points are. And so here are some of the things that just really bug me about the game that I think could be easily fixed. Number one, fragile cars. Dude, if you hit a leaf in this game and you're driving your car, it's gonna break down. Like, you could hit a branch, a leaf, there's no collision in the game. You could try to run over a chicken and you're going to get stopped dead in your tracks, and your engine, spark plug, battery, whatever, is going to get damaged. And it's just really annoying. Sometimes, and he fixed this, but at the beginning of the game, in the beginning of the alpha, if you would go downhill and try to go down to a more level road, it would get caught where the incline and the level road would meet, and you would take substantial damage there as well. So fragile cars, seriously bad thing. Number two goes off of number one in the fact that car parts are a rarity. So not only is the car very fragile and the parts inside of it are very fragile, the car parts themselves that you find to repair the car are rare. And not only are they rare, I'm pretty sure for the most part they run out. For instance, I've been out of luck finding a spark plug forever now. It's been about 4 IRL days of me playing the game, and I have yet to find a single spark plug. You go back to areas where there used to be car parts and there's no longer car parts there. He did add a new patch where you can destroy static cars, static meshes of cars, and you'll get components, scraps, and a chance at a battery, engine, or spark plug. But I've only gotten batteries, and even then, that adds, you have to use an axe, and that leads into issue number 3, which is the axe is incredibly fragile. Now, this wasn't necessarily an issue at the beginning because the only thing an axe was good for was chopping down trees and maybe killing a stray zombie here or there if you were out of ammo, and that's fine. But since then, you can destroy previously placed walls with your axe, you can do the trees obviously with your axe, you can destroy static cars only with your axe, and so you guys can see how this is an issue, because the variety of objects that are able to be destroyed or chopped down with an axe has increased, yet the durability of the axe has stayed the same. So you are going to be wasting resources that shouldn't be wasted, a bunch of scrap and planks, or it should be ingots and planks, building axes over and over again, whenever you should be able to just build a reinforced axe, or the developer should just increase the durability of that axe. The fourth issue is going to be this. Resources in general are very hard to find. Alright, now food and water is not that big of a deal. You can easily set up some drying racks, kill a bear, hang up his meat. You can set up a purifier next to a pond and get unlimited water and food that way. That's fine. The bears respawn, okay, so you have literally unlimited food, unlimited water. However, the issues come into play with scrap and components. They don't respawn. And normally I like this because it makes it really hardcore, but in the current state of the game, where the world is small enough to where you're able to walk around it in a single in-game time, in-game day, and you can't find any more scrap or component to continue building on your base, or building weapons or tools or lockers, you know, that's an issue, because there's not anywhere to look, you know? It stonewalls you, and it restricts your gameplay and your creativity whenever you're trying to build a base really cool, and I think that's a big issue, and it could turn some people away, because the main point of a video game is to keep people in the game as long as possible. So why you would restrict the amount of materials that respawn so much or completely is beyond me at this state, at this time in the game. 5, friendly and enemy AI is absolutely horrendous. Like, the infected, it's not so bad. Like, they're mindless infected, they see you, they hear you, whatever, they'll come and attack you, that's okay. My issue is obviously with our friendly AI and the actual bandits. The bandits are kind of dumb. Like, they see their friend's dead body and then they just lose interest and walk around again. They don't keep searching the area for very long. I don't know, they just don't seem very smart. They're very predictable, I suppose. They're not up to par with a lot of the other AIs that are coming out nowadays. As for the friendly AIs, okay, they get stuck on things, they don't attack anything even though they're able to carry weapons. There's no voice acting yet. They have their own resources, like food and water bars like your character has, but if you don't feed or water them, then it's no big deal because they don't die anyways. You make them a bed, they don't sleep in the bed. They get, oh yeah, I said they get stuck on everything, but it's not like you can reset the game and they're unstuck. Like, they stay stuck, even if you move the object that they're stuck on. If you want them to go craft something for you, sometimes they won't go craft it for you. Like, they're just a mess. And it's also kind of annoying to me that they can't follow you around. I wish they could, because that would just add more inventory space. You can give them stuff to carry. Think of Skyrim. Followers only, obviously, in Mist Survival. Number 6. This kind of caveats off of issue number 4 with the resource scarcity. The walls are expensive. Now, if you've ever played this game for any amount of time, you'll know that walls are insanely expensive. It costs like 20 nels or 25 nels if it has a ladder, like 20 or 25, or like 8 or 12 planks of wood and like 12 logs of wood. Like, so crazy. The walls are insanely expensive, and the fact that you can only use an axe to knock down trees off, which makes sense, but they're so fragile, it is crazy. And the fact that scrap doesn't really respawn at a very fast rate is also an issue, because then you run out of nails and you can't build walls anymore. The trees respawn just fine, so I'm just wondering why it's not a blanket all-around respawn. If the trees respawn quickly, why don't the scrap, and why don't components, you know? Issue number 7 is going to be about the walls again, and the fact that there's no corner pieces to them. You can't build corners in the game yet whenever you're building a wall, so I'm not sure if the developer expected us to just build a single horizontal wall and that's it, but it's forced the players, naming myself and others, to improvise, which is cool because it lets us be creative that way, but we shouldn't have to, in this case, be creative to get around it. It's a workaround for a flawed gameplay mechanic or a lack of content that should already be there. You're not able to build corner pieces in walls, so at first I built a house, and I was able to make a turn in the wall there, which is fine, and in my most recent area building a wall, I just used livestock fences, and that worked just as fine as well, but it's just really annoying because it doesn't look as good. I don't know if they're going to be able to get through the livestock fence. If you build a house, the zombies could jump through the window. It's just not optimal at all. Number 8, chickens disappear. That's right. If you log out and log back in, there is a possibility that all your chickens could disappear. I spent an entire episode gathering chickens. I got up to like 8. And then I came back in the game the next day, I only had 1. And then I went to go travel around, and I grabbed the chicken on my way back home, put it in there, I had 2. Went to go chop down some trees. I even put up a livestock fence to keep them in there, just in case they ran away. And I came back, and I only had 1 again. So I was like, well, that's great. So that was a waste of time, and it's unfair, and it makes me angry because it takes forever to gather chickens because they run away from you. Issue number 9. You can't lock your base door. What's the point of having these walls? What's the point in having these massive doors? And what's the point of having what looks like a lock on the front door if you can't lock the front door? It makes no sense to me. You're in a post-apocalyptic environment where there's zombies and bandits, and you don't put a lock on a door? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't seem like that complex of a mechanic to put in the game, right? Like, the developer does this with everything. Take the generator, for example. You walk up to the generator, you hover over it with your cursor, and it says like, F to turn on or off, E to interact, M to move. He does it with everything, but you can't walk up to a door and be like, F to lock, E to interact. It's just open or close. So it's just weird to me. You know, I don't get it, and it's really inconvenient because, once again, what's the point of having walls, and what's the point of building a door if the bandits can just walk in anyways, you know? And the last issue, which is may or may not be an issue, it depends on who you ask. And it's not really an issue to me, but I'm going to include it anyways because I know some people do find it an issue, and I think it's an interesting debate to be had. The issue is multiplayer. Should this game support multiplayer? Should it only be single player? I don't know. I'm having a blast with it just being single player, honestly. It's refreshing to not have an online survival game. You know, I think Scum is doing a great job kind of grabbing that market right now. And I'm not sure if number one, this is a single man development team. So I highly doubt he could afford any substantial amount of servers. Number two, I'm not sure of the active player base for single player alone. And so if you count the amount of players playing this game that's single player, and then you could subtract a certain amount of people who don't want the multiplayer, then I almost feel like adding multiplayer to this game would just be negligible and unnecessary, at least in its current state. Once it's actually out of early access and it has all the tricks and building cosmetics, all that good stuff, then maybe, because by that point the player base will be up, the developer may have a team to keep upgrading and updating the game, putting out patches, it will have a name for itself, it'll have constant flow of revenue, who knows about any sort of DLC, like, by the time this game is like done, and it's ready to leave early access, I think it could support multiplayer, but as of right now, I just don't think it's wise. I just know there's a lot of people crying about it. Saying that, there's no multiplayer, oh my gosh. Whenever I agree, it would be cool, at least have an option. Scum has an option, single player and multiplayer, but Scum has more money. You know, I just don't feel like the people who are crying about no multiplayer are really thinking about the cost required and the time required to keep those servers up and running. But anyways, guys, this was my issues with Mist Survival right now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, if you guys like scares, survival, and scavenging, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, leave a like and a comment, and I will see you guys in the next one. Pathfinder out.